Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Sports Machine. This June 20th, Thursday edition. Right? What's today? Thursday, right?
It is
Thursday
Thursday.
edition. Um, and hope you all had a great day yesterday. If you were off because of Juneteenth, I hope you had a great off day. Hope you had a safe off day if you did celebrate. Um, Obviously, you know how important Juneteenth is. But we are back today. As you see, I am not alone. I have D'Lo back with me before he takes his journey off into Japan. Is
Yep.
he going what tomorrow?
I leave tomorrow. Yep.
You go for what 2 weeks? You said.
2 weeks.
Attaboy.
Yep.
Attaboy. So D'Lo, will obviously that means he will be gone for a while. And so maybe we'll have some people come in and hang out with me for a little bit, or some shows I may do solo dolo. But um, so yeah, he's gonna be going off on his vacation. We're missing Kevin. Also, I just realized. So usually, obviously, I send out a show sheet every morning,
Yep.
and I sent it. So I made one at like 8:45, and then Kevin had sent me something last night, and I sent the show sheet just to him, and I was like, why is usually D'Lo responds? Why is he not responding? And and I looked, I was like, okay, so I just sent it just to Kevin. So
It was funny because you sent the link to the studio before the show sheet, and I'm like, "What are we talking about?" Jamal?"
because that's what I was like, wait, where's the show sheet? Why is the show sheet not on here?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, because I sent it just to damn Kevin. Speaking of which, look
Hey,
at this
there
guy.
he is.
What are you doing there, brother?
I'm changing.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
righty. All right, we
All
can put
righty.
him
What?
back on backstage. We can put
Yeah.
him back
What?
there.
We'll just put him back there while he gets changed. Don't want to get demonetized. But after all that craziness, like every day, we start off every show. Oh, I think Kevin's back. I think he's changed. He has clothes on now. Kevin is fully clothed.
I don't
But
want to. I don't want to have people run away now, do I?
uh, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
John said, "Let me see." John said, "Let me see." That is. Oh, right.
Look,
Okay.
we gotta move. Get into the segment.
Yeah, all right, yeah. You know what? Something to chew on. Somebody hit the something to chew on so obviously something we get into every morning, go over the top sports stories of the day or what happened, whatever the case may be. First up, Rich Paul. Rich Paul came out and talked a little bit, talked to the media, and let everybody know that just because the Lakers draft LeBron or Bronny, aka LeBron James Jr., does not mean LeBron will sign back with the Lakers. Right now, he is a unrestricted free agent. And a lot of people are saying wherever Bronny goes, LeBron goes. Rich Paul is saying that is not the case. Rich Paul, of course, LeBron James' longtime agent, and he also comes out and says that LeBron James will not sign a veterans minimum contract with the Phoenix Suns. So, Tila, I want to ask, what's your reaction to Rich Paul coming out and saying all that?
Man, I put it in the group chat when you sent that yesterday, but we all know he's lying. We all know it's
Yeah.
LeBron's ultimate goal to go play with Bronny wherever he's at. And while maybe the Suns part is true, maybe he will not sign the vet minimum. Um, Saying that if the Lakers draft Bronny, LeBron won't resign is crazy. Saying that if you draft Bronny, LeBron would come along is crazy because we've heard about it for years now. That's what LeBron wants to do. So if he wants to do it, he will make it happen. So I call cap on this one.
What do you think, Kev? Oh,
Alrighty.
So what I think about the situation is, I agree with what D'Lo said. But what if he's saying that also? It also determines what team drafts Bronny as well. And a team that has no championship aspect, no championship roster drafting Bronny drafts him, I don't think Bronny's gonna want to go to that team. If we're being realistic. But a team that has the pieces, that has the players, on that team that can surround LeBron on a playoff run and maybe a championship run, then I say you want to go team up with Bronny and them. But I think it just depends on the situation, depends on the team that drafts Bronny.
Usually I would say, I would be like, you know what, Rich Paul is actually speaking. He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. LeBron will not. It doesn't matter where Bronny goes. He's going to go where he wants to go. This and that. But he hasn't re-signed with the Lakers yet. He has no deal with the Lakers yet, and so that's the reason why I'm kind of skeptical on what Rich Paul is saying. I'm with D-Lo when he said that that LeBron won't go sign a vet minimum contract. That was kind of obvious. That's LeBron James. I'm sure he's not going to go sign a vet minimum contract to go try and win a championship, whether he has a good chance or not. So that case, I do believe him. But again, I'm a little skeptical because he doesn't have a new contract with the Lakers yet. And we're definitely gonna get into some more free agency stuff here in a little bit. So I'm excited for that. Stay tuned for that. But so it's a little. Yeah, I think I might call cap. Might be with you guys. I might call cap on that one. Alan Hahn. I know D-Lo might not like this. Alan Hahn on ESPN on Get Up this morning says that Jimmy Butler has played his last game as a Miami Heat player. D-Lo, I'm going to ask you first. What's your initial reaction to this?
Bro, we got another capper in the building today. Listen, I don't know where this notion is coming from. Obviously, the reports from what we've seen is that Jimmy Butler is looking for that max contract extension. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And from what it sounds like, Pat Riley at the moment is not looking to give it to him. But to say that it's his last game in Miami is kind of crazy to me. Because what do you get for him right now, right? He's 36. I think he's 36. He might be younger, 35. But he's getting up there, and obviously we know what he does come playoff time. He's probably the best playoff performer in the recent years. But to
34.
sit here and 34, yeah.
34.
But to sit here and say that, he's played his last game in Miami, after we went to literally the finals just last year, and we probably could have taken the Celtics a few more games. Probably not have won, but definitely would have taken them further if Jimmy was healthy and available. So to sit here and say that in the middle of me talking, Jamal.
I tried to get it real quiet. It didn't work.
But to sit here and say that it's his last game, especially because his price is going to be super high because Miami deems him as that. I don't think he's going anywhere.
What about you, Kev?
I do think Jimmy stays with Miami. I could see it happening, but I also could see the possibility of him going to another team as well, especially if they don't bring in that other star to pair him up to make a big three with Bam and Jimmy. Because although I do like the Terry Rozier trade that they made in the middle of the season, I didn't think that trade was gonna move him over the hump of the Celtics or even possibly the Bucks, in my opinion. But Miami does have a very talented roster. They do have a team that can go to the finals, maybe win a championship. I'm not too sure, especially with the Boston being the powerhouse that they are in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, I think they're just if Jimmy resigns, then they need to bring in a third superstar. I don't know who that could be, but I think they need to definitely bring in a third superstar if he comes back.
I know who it could be, and he plays on the team where your hat is currently on. I'll leave that alone, though. Go ahead.
Oh, you leave it alone for now, but we'll get into it here in a little bit. It's gonna be hard to get off of him. I mean, it's going to be really hard to get off of him. And then even if you do get off of him, who are you gonna bring in that can help you go win a chip? Right? Miami Heat is ran by Pat Riley. Pat Riley is a championship guy. He's a champion. Like that is his DNA. Always has been. Obviously, when he was with the Lakers and when he was with, and then as long as he's been with Miami. So again, I don't know what you would get back for him. You know, D'Lo mentioned he's a 34-year-old, aging, injury-prone star. So, and I don't even know who would want him. Like, who would go out and get him right now? I mean, maybe
Philly,
maybe a Philly return. You know,
Indy?
maybe the Indy, maybe the Clippers, if they really don't want to bring back Paul George. So again, it'd be really hard to get off of him, and then I don't know what you also get back in return. That's also the kind of big story with KD. Because we could get off of him, but what are we going to get back in return? Because we're definitely not going to get back what we gave up. So, and again, it's really it's definitely conflicting. Let's see. Kyler Murray this morning. Kyler Murray. He says the potential for Marvin Harrison Jr. on the Cardinals. Sky is the limit. K1 says for Arizona. Kev, where do you think the potential stops for where do you think is the peak for Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I think his ceiling is. I don't want to go because we haven't seen him play in the pros yet. I don't want to go as far as saying Randy Moss ceiling, so I'm gonna play a little safe and go with a Julio Jones or an AJ Green ceiling.
Okay, AJ Green.
AJ Green in his prime was
Okay.
was a dog in Cincy. A lot of people forget that. And I would say his floor. He has a very I don't think he's gonna ever go to that floor level, but his floor it could be. I can't think of a very comparable floor for him, but I think his ceiling could be an AJ Green, Julio Jones type of player.
What do you think, D'Lo?
man, listen, hey, there's a reason they spent pick number 4 on him. He's legit, right? Um, I'm not gonna go like all time players. I'm just gonna put him position wise. I think he has the talent to be a top 3 receiver in the league. I feel like that much is obvious. That's what you get for spending a number 4 pick on a receiver, right? I think his floor is still top 15, maybe even top 10. I love the kid. I think the thing that is potentially going to hold him back is Arizona's lack of resources on offense. And in terms of that, I don't mean Kyler, because we all know what he did on the second half when he returned. But as of right now, he's outside of tight end. There's really nothing else. So he's going to get targeted, and the best DBs will be on him the entire season. And so finding a way to overcome that will be a struggle for him, especially to start the season. But again, I think his floor is still a top 15 receiver in the league. And I think he can make that jump pretty quickly if Kyler continues to play how he played in the second half of the season.
Obviously, being the Ohio State fan that I am, I watched a lot of Marvin Harrison Jr. in college. Obviously, being the Cardinals fan that I am, I've watched a lot of Kyler Murray. I've watched a lot of Cardinals football, as you can see. Marvin Harrison Jr. And I've thought about it. I think his ceiling, his absolute ceiling, is Larry Fitzgerald. And I don't just say that because he's a Cardinal. I say that because of the hands that Marvin Harrison has and the ability to go get 50-50 balls like Larry Fitzgerald did. I think coming in with an established quarterback, I think is going to help him out that much more. And I think that I do have to disagree with you somewhere, D'Lo. I think this Cardinals offense has a lot of weapons. I think the Cardinals had a lot of weapons. Obviously, you bring in Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 4th overall pick. You have a Trey McBride from last year who was top, I think, 6 or 7 in receiving yards for tight ends. You have a James Conner who went over 1,000 yards last year. You bring in a 3rd-round pick in Trey Benson who can be that speed back out of the backfield or 3rd down back whenever James Conner goes out. You have Michael Wilson, a 3rd-round pick who, if he stays healthy, can be a very dangerous weapon. And you know that firsthand. He had his best game of the year last year against the 49ers with 2 touchdowns, 6 receptions, and about, I think, 79, 80 yards. So he can also be a very, very dangerous weapon. So I think this Cardinal offense has a lot of potential. I think they have a lot of potential, and I think they have some weapons that can really stand out and help Kyler. But again, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think his peak can be, not only top 5, top 3 receivers of all of right now, but I think he could be a top 10 receiver of all time. So that's just going based off the pure talent, the pure skill that he has. But like you guys said, he's not played a game in the NFL just yet. So we'll see. We'll have to see. Obviously, like I said, coming in with an established quarterback, I think is going to help him a lot. Obviously, in Minnesota or maybe even Chicago is a better example. A quarterback who's not played a single game in the NFL and also a wide receiver who has not played in the NFL at all, and Roma Dunze and Caleb Williams. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I cannot wait for football season. I'm so excited. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be that guy.
The only thing that kind of scares me about the offense is the running back position with Connor because of his injury past. And it's also because how old is he? Like 28, 29 now?
I believe James Conner is 29.
He's up there, yeah.
Yeah, so around that age we all know it. Everyone that watches football knows it. I mean, when you get closer to the end of 20s, closer to 30, they always seem to regress. So that's the only thing that I'm scared of, especially with him being your guys' lead back, your cowbell back. So if you guys are able to also find your guys' future back as well, to have a big 3 offense with the running back, quarterback, and receiver, and Harrison Jr. and Kyler, that'd be very beneficial for you guys. That's just the only hole that I'm looking at. Maybe not this season, but in the upcoming seasons, that's what I would look out for as well.
But again, that's why you draft a Trey Benson in the 3rd round from FSU this year. That's right. So you bring him in to be your future back, and then you also brought in Michael Carter Jr., who played very well last year after you brought him in after he was waived by the Jets. So you have a big 3 running backs right now. Obviously, James Conner is at the forefront of those 3 running backs. But I'm very excited to see what Trey Benson and then Michael Carter Jr. what they can bring behind him if, God forbid, he does get hurt. Lastly, Monty Williams, obviously the most recently dismissed coach. He was fired from the Pistons after just 1 season after signing the biggest deal for a coach in NBA history. He is obviously now a free agent. The Lakers are still looking for a head coach and are reportedly interested in Monty Williams. So, D'Lo, I ask you, would Monty Williams be a good fit in LA if LeBron does return?
It's hard because realistically, outside of Spoelstra and Ty Lue, no one has really been able to coach well with LeBron. Obviously, there are like Frank Vogel won a chip in 2020 with them, and so there's some credit there, but he was gone 2 seasons later. So it's hard, especially with the attention that LeBron commands from everybody. But I think he's probably by far the best candidate for them. And we've talked about it before. I don't know if JJ Redick is the guy in terms of locker room presence, right? We obviously know he's got a great basketball IQ and he has a great knowledge for the game. But in terms of, gelling the guys together, I don't know if he's that guy. But we know that Monty is, and we've seen it in that 2021 championship run that they had to the finals. So I think Monty is probably the top candidate for them, but it really just depends.
I think I think that's probably their best option, Monty Williams as their head HC. The only thing that I'm very scared for, as like D'Lo said, only two coaches have shown success with LeBron as you know as the coach. I mean, and look at the last couple of seasons for the Lakers too. I mean, we haven't seen a head coach coaching for that team for over 3 seasons. So it's very tough, and it's also LeBron does demand a big spotlight, you know, playing in the league. But it's also the Lakers too. The Lakers are one of the most viewed teams in the whole entire league. So there's also that. So there's just so much pressure. But I do think he's a better option than JJ because he does have the experience. He has made it to the playoffs. He has made it to the finals. So I think it's a better option than JJ Redick. But you know what? I I I have no problem with them getting Monty Williams as their coach. I'm just afraid because it might demoralize him, and it might if it doesn't go well in LA, it's gonna make him look like a bad coach after coaching for the Pistons and the Lakers if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I really like the idea of Monty Williams. Not as a Suns fan, I hate it, but if I'm a Lakers fan, I would love the idea of Monty Williams going to coach LA. Monty Williams is one of those coaches. Yes, you obviously want to win the championship now with LeBron, but he can also coach for the future. Because like he knows how to coach young guys, he knows how to relate to young guys. And then also, I think the biggest thing to me, he has a relationship with Anthony Davis already. He was the head coach in New Orleans when Anthony Davis was there. And obviously, Anthony Davis, once LeBron does move on, whether that's this year or years down the road, you want Anthony Davis to be that star for you. And having Monty Williams already having a relationship with Anthony Davis and being able to move on and try and get him to be that star role, and then you can be able to bring in somebody who can fit alongside Anthony Davis. Again, once LeBron does end up retiring or leaving or whatever the case may be, I think Monty Williams is that guy you want them to breed with. You want them to come up with. So I would love, if I'm a Lakers fan, I would love it. I would absolutely love this pairing with the Lakers and Monty Williams. If I'm a Suns fan, I hate it because I see the potential there and I see how good they could be with Monty Williams at the helm. So little worrisome there, but yeah, I think Monty Williams would be a good fit in LA. But that concludes Something to Chew On. Every morning we go over the top stories of the day in the first segment of the show called Something to Chew On. Next up, NBA free agency is looming. I believe here at the end of the month or the beginning of this next month is when players can officially sign with teams. And there's some big name free agents out there. There's some big name free agents out there. Obviously, you have the LeBrons and you have the Paul Georges. Siakam just signed. So you have the big players. So what I want to ask you guys, and whoever wants to go first, who is the biggest fish and where do they sign?
Go ahead, Kev. I'll let you speak first.
Are we doing like someone that's kind of like slept on, someone that's not talked about as much, or
no? You strictly who is the most? How do I put this? Who is the most attractive asset and the perfect fit for that asset?
Deal? I'll let you go first, so I can take a look at the upcoming free agents.
It's hard to say. It just
if you want, I can go first. If you guys need a few minutes.
I'm gonna say yes because I'm between two players right now, and I don't know who I want to go with.
Okay. The most interesting, aka most attractive fish to me that I think could have an impact on a championship-winning team is DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is an unrestricted free agent this year. Obviously, coming off his tenure with the Bulls, I do not think he re-signs with the Bulls. In fact, I think he goes to the Los Angeles Clippers. DeMar DeRozan, being from Los Angeles, obviously he was at Kendrick Lamar's concert last night, along with Russell Westbrook, along with James Harden, who are also most recently Clippers. I don't know if DeMar wants to go play with LeBron and Anthony Davis. I think he'd be a perfect fit in LA with Kawhi Leonard. I think they would play. I think they would mesh very well together. And I think DeMar DeRozan stays on the court more than Paul George does. Now, Paul George may be the better basketball player, but I love DeMar DeRozan's heart. I love his energy, and I love his game, his ability to get to a spot in the mid-range, his ability to score the basketball at will whenever he feels like he needs to do so. So DeMar DeRozan, I think, is the most interesting slash biggest piece and most intriguing piece in this NBA free agency. And again, I think he goes to the Clippers, back to his hometown, not exactly his home, his favorite team, but I love DeMar DeRozan in LA with the Clippers. There's also a few other guys. Obviously, there's James Harden, who could go really anywhere. That's another very intriguing free agent that can be looked upon and interesting where he would go. Tyrese Maxey is a restricted free agent. I can't imagine the Sixers let him go anywhere. Even if he does go sign with the team, I'm sure the Sixers will match it immediately. Kind of like a DeAndre Ayton situation a few years ago with the Suns. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a very interesting piece. He has a player option with the Nuggets, so I'm sure he'll be looking for another deal. Tobias Harris is another one of those names who could go somewhere, get mid-level exception, and for maybe a championship contending team. There's a lot of guys on here. There's a lot of guys on here that can really have an impact. Malik Beasley is another one. The guy who I think first or second in 3-point percentage last year is an unrestricted free agent. Buddy Hield can have an impact on a team. Miles Bridges, obviously, but
pick.
got
my pick.
Yeah. Oh, okay, bet because again, like, and some of these guys are a little older. But my guy DeMar DeRozan, he's 34. So are you going to give him a 3, 4, 5-year deal? Are you going to give him a 2 or 3 year deal to try and get the rest of the good years he has out of him? So DeMar DeRozan, that's my pick. Go ahead, D-Lo.
So I think the most impactful free agency signing will be Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, Philly is a piece away, and obviously they're probably not re-signing Tobias. I don't see him contributing to a contender that Philly is trying to build. And so I think the key for them is if they give Maxey that max extension, who are they going to bring in with him to kind of help Embiid and Maxey to compete, because they need another piece. And I don't know if you guys agree with that, but my personal opinion, I think they need another piece, especially with Joel Embiid's health. Anything to take pressure off of Joel Embiid. Obviously, we saw it with Tyrese Maxey in the playoffs. He was phenomenal. And so if you bring in another guy that can sort of help Embiid take some pressure off of him, I think that's the biggest key for me in terms of teams that I'm watching is Philly. But in terms of free agents, like unrestricted, the one that stands out the most to me is Malik Monk. And you didn't name him, Jamal, but this is a guy that I thought should have won 6th Man of the Year this year over Naz Reid. He finished second in 6th Man of the Year voting this year. And so he's an unrestricted free agent. He averaged 15 off the bench this year, and he can go to any contending team and immediately make an impact. He would help our finals loser, Dallas, tremendously. They need bench scoring. They need depth. Any contender needs depth, right? That's why the Celtics were so good. They had Al Horford coming off the bench to help with KP. They have these other pieces, Drew Holiday, Derek White, outside of their 2 superstars, or, well, some may consider them not superstars and just stars, but you need guys like that. And so for me, I don't really look at the big free agent picture, the stars, the Paul George, the DeMar DeRozan. I don't look at any of that. I look at the good role players and where they go. And to me, Malik Monk is the most interesting one for sure.
Real quick before you go, Kevin, I think that's a very interesting one. The only problem with that is obviously Malik Monk is still very young. He's 26. So he's still very young. Only problem with that is he's gonna want a lot of money. He's gonna want a lot of money.
Does he not deserve that?
He deserves it. He
Okay.
absolutely deserves it. And I think if he did not get hurt, he would have won 6 Man of the Year.
Okay.
The only problem is I don't know if a championship contending team is going to be able to give him the amount of money he wants. That's my concern. He's going to get his money. He's going to get his money. I just don't think he's going to get his money from a contender.
You don't think in the ballpark of 20 million is reasonable?
I think it's absolutely reasonable. But if you're a contender and you're paying Joel Embiid $45 million a year, and then you're about to pay Tyrese Maxey $35 million a year, and then you might be able to bring a Malik Monk in off the bench, right? Again, but the contenders, Dallas, I don't know if they'd be able to afford them because obviously PJ Washington's coming up. You're obviously paying Luka a whole lot of money. Kyrie is the same thing. So are you able to pay a guy like that $20 million a year and still pay your stars what they need to get paid? So that's the only concern about me for Malik Monk going into a contender. But I absolutely do think he's going to get his money. Go ahead, Kev. So
I saw this one. I have a couple of names that none of you guys named, and I'm glad none of you guys named because I'd have been like, damn, I miss talking about them. But I'm gonna go first on this one specific team, the New York Knicks. They have 3 names that I've seen on this list: OG Anunoby, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Precious Achiuwa. You have those 3 guys were key rotational players for the Knicks playoff run. You know, Precious stepped up big time when Hartenstein went down and Mitch Robinson wasn't healthy yet. Hartenstein stepped up big time when Mitch Robinson went down for over half the year. I mean, we seen what this man can do. Hartenstein, in my opinion, I think he looked like he was a better fit than Mitch Robinson for the New York Knicks, to be honest. So and then OG Anunoby, you know what he can bring on both sides of the ball. So it's gonna be hard for them to re-sign all 3 players, especially if they're all demanding a big payday. Realistically, I could see them re-signing 2. Most likely, it's gonna be Hartenstein and OG. I just can't see them letting go of OG. But if OG doesn't re-sign with the Knicks, if the Mavericks are, I don't know if they have the money for OG, but if they can somehow snag OG off the Knicks, that I think that's the perfect fit for them. They needed someone like OG Anunoby right there on their team that can offer defense and can offer 3-point shooting. And then Precious Achiuwa, I mean, he plays from the 4 through the 5, and he can switch on defense on bigs. I like how he plays with tons of energy and heart. And then, like I said, Hartenstein, he stepped up big time for them. 2 other players that are not on the Knicks that I did notice was Nick Claxton. I think Nick Claxton is one of the most underrated rim protectors that no one talks about as much when you talk about best defensive centers. I think he should be up there with the conversations. I wouldn't say he's as good as AD or Bam, but defensively, you got to give him credit because he is one of the best rim protectors in the league, in my opinion. And then there's also Emmanuel Quickley. I almost forgot about Emmanuel Quickley as well. I mean, he was on the Knicks, and then when he got traded to the Raptors, this man was balling. This man was averaging over 20 points per game. Yes, they didn't have any pieces on that team besides Scotty Barnes because they traded away Pascal and everyone else on that team. But I mean, this man was a role player on the Knicks, and he became a star on the Raptors. I mean, if Raptors don't bring him back, a championship team tries to bring him in, that could be a good rotational piece for them. For any championship team. I mean, he can be a player off the bench that can give you 15, 20 points per game. And I mean, look at Dallas. They might need someone like him to come off the bench and score points for them to get them over the hump and possibly go back to the finals.
The shade to RJ Barrett is kind of crazy, but we'll leave it alone.
Look. I like RJ, but from the eye test and from the stat point of view, it wasn't looking as consistent as what Emmanuel quickly was doing for them on the Raptors.
So a few things. So obviously, you just mentioned Emmanuel quickly. Emmanuel quickly, he did play very well for Toronto. He played very well. I think he had like a 25 and 15 game against the Suns this past year. So he had he played very well and he stepped up big time for the Raptors. Obviously, the Raptors not making very much of an impact anywhere in the East, not even. But for Emmanuel quickly, I think he's very good, but he is a restricted free agent. So I really don't, unless it's some outrageous contract at like 25, 30 mil a year, I think I definitely see the Raptors bringing him back. And then you also mentioned OG Anunoby. I love OG Anunoby. I love OG Anunoby. The part I don't love is his ability to stay healthy. Can he stay healthy? He was injured throughout the entire season this year. Obviously got hurt in the playoffs, tried to come back, did not work out very well. Can he stay healthy to make an impact on a championship team? If he stays healthy, he can be a huge, huge impact role player. But if he cannot stay healthy, that's where the problem lies, and that's where the problem has been over the past few years. Again, not only in Toronto, but transferring over to New York and still having his injury problems there. So I love OG Anunoby. He has a player option, which I try to imagine he's going to opt out of. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of big names. Nicholas Claxton is also a very good name you mentioned. His ability to defend the rim, catch lobs, finish lobs, and really just play the big man center, the typical big man center. He was
averaging double doubles as well too. Like it's not like he was just playing defense. He was putting up like about 12 points per game as well on the stretch.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and it's nice to have that guy who could just roll to the rim. He could throw it up, and wherever it is, he'll go get it. So Nicholas Claxton is definitely a huge asset. But those are our free agent. I picked DeMar DeRozan. D'Lo picked Malik Monk, which I think I really like that one. That's a very interesting one. And then Kevin said a few guys. Who do you like the most?
I would. I must say Nicholas Claxton. I think he's a player that whoever, if the Nets don't bring him back, whichever team that needs a starting center like Nicholas Claxton, that to bring him over the hump, that would be the guy that they should go after.
That's an extremely intriguing pick. Because will he get the money? Will he get, a big deal? Will he get 25, 26, $27 million a year? Or will teams not offer him that and give him 11, 12, $13 million a year for 2 years or 3 years? So it'll be interesting to see. But do want to get onto this. Over to football we go. There are a lot of pressure on a lot of different players this upcoming season. So, again, either of you guys can go first. Where does the most pressure lie on any player in the NFL this upcoming season?
I think before any of us continue, I think we can all agree the most pressure and the most pressure to do anything at all is the part of the quarterback position. Am I wrong or?
Oh, absolutely.
I have my name.
Go ahead, D'Lo. Go off.
It popped immediately as soon as you sent the segment sheet this morning. And I think any name that isn't this name is wrong.
Yeah, I think I know who you're going. I'm gonna say somebody else just so that I can pick somebody else. But
I don't know if you know who I'm gonna say. Dak Prescott.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott has the most pressure to do anything. Not in the regular season. He's phenomenal when it comes to regular season play. If he does not step up in any sort of playoff scenario, they need to move away from him. We've seen it time and time and time again. He is fantastic all regular season. And then as soon as it hits wild card, as soon as it hits divisional round, where is he? Nobody knows where he's at. He's off in Cancun already. He needs to step up and win some playoff games. And I think that if they don't make it to the NFC Championship game this year, the Cowboys will move from him.
Which they
So
won't. I don't think they will.
if they want to win, they will. If they want to win, CD Lamb's window is very, very tight for me. CD Lamb seems to me like a player that wants to win, and if Jerry Jones and the Cowboys refuse to move from Dak, I could imagine him moving, kind of like
Like
an Ayuk right now. Ayuk wants to win, but the thing with that situation is they're not willing to pay him. Dallas paid CD Lamb already, but if there's this continued lack of success, I think Dallas Stars are going to want out. I think CD Lamb will be the first to go. Micah Parsons is a name that comes to mind. I think Trevon Diggs, with his injury history from last year, has the opportunity to leave. So again, there's just a lot of names and there's a lot of built up frustration because Dak coming into the league in 2016 as a rookie was great from the start. And he's been great consistently in the regular season. I just need them to win some playoff games and show us that Dak can be the guy. And I haven't seen it.
So Kev, if you want to go next, you absolutely can. But I just want to react to D'Lo's guy a little bit. Dak Prescott is the absolutely correct answer. I'm gonna go with somebody else because I think that's Dak Prescott is the absolutely correct answer because he's on the last year of his deal and he needs to show somebody something. And so again, I agree with you. Dak Prescott is the absolutely correct answer. And the Cowboys have so many people that are on the last year of their deal. They have obviously Dak Prescott, CD Lamb, Zach Martin, Micah Parsons is running out of time. Zeke Elliott, obviously, he's on a 1 year deal. Both of the running backs, actually, Zeke and Rico Dowdle, are both on the last year of their deal. So they have so many people to pay. Obviously, this would be Dak Prescott's second contract, but if he plays well, and if he goes into the playoffs and plays well, he will be the first one out of all those people to get their deal done. He'll be the first one. Mm-hmm. CD Lamb should have got his deal already. What they're doing, I have no idea. What Jerry Jones is just, I don't know what he's doing. But Dak Prescott is the absolutely correct answer. So did want to point that out. Kev, did you have somebody in mind?
You know what, D'Lo? I should have gone first because that was gonna be my pick as well.
It's just the obvious pick. My bad.
A pick that I think both you guys are gonna look at me, because I was gonna pick Dak, but I had to pick another player. You guys might look at me confused, or you guys might even get a little heated about my pick. Is the reigning MVP, and the reason why I say that, is yes. I mean, we talk about regular season, right?
I support this pick too. Keep
And
going, Kev.
It was my damn pick.
Javon, you're 0 for 2. You gotta pick someone else after now, bro.
No, because I knew one of you were gonna pick Dak, so I was like, let me pick somebody else. And then this stupid idiot decided to go with my pick.
That's what happens when you have 3 guys that watch football every single Sunday, and you watch it from the eye test. I mean, all 3 of us know.
Yeah, I got my other pick in mind though.
And so I thought I was gonna get blasted, but I guess all 3 guys do actually support my decision for saying this. Look, regular season, I got no doubt in my mind he played phenomenal last year. And every single season too that he's not as banged up or is not hurt. When he's healthy, he's a top 3 quarterback in my opinion. Maybe some people have him top 5, but he's definitely up there as one of the elite quarterbacks. The ability to just scramble the ball, the ability to be a dual threat quarterback. I mean, there's no doubt in mind he's one of the most skilled quarterbacks in the league. But when it comes to the postseason, what has he done in the postseason? I mean, what's I don't know, Jamal D'Lo. I don't know if you guys can look up his playoff record, but I can tell you for sure it's not a 500 or winning record. I mean, we saw it last year. They beat the Texans, but it was a very young, inexperienced Texan team, and when it
I
came,
got you. It's 1-3.
yeah, so it's not even 2-3. He only has one win, and that's against an inexperienced Texans team. And then you play against the Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes, and look what happened. I mean, he got shut out. He got shut down. I mean, he didn't have his best game. He looked like an average quarterback in my opinion in that game. Um, yes, if you
Oh,
say what's up,
I lied. It's 2-4. It wasn't including this year.
what's the other one?
Um,
That was Tennessee.
Oh,
yeah.
that was the year that Derrick Henry and the Titans beat us, right? In the wild card round.
Yes.
Okay.
He
So yeah,
yeah,
he's
he
two
beat
and
Tennessee
four.
that year. Yeah. Yeah.
He's 2 and 4. I mean, which is not at all impressive as at all, especially if you're a two-time MVP. You have to be better. And yes, he didn't have his number one target in the playoffs last year with Mark Andrews. His best receiving option was a rookie in Zay Flowers. So I'll give him. You know, I won't discredit him as much as some people may. But as an MVP last year, you have to be better. You can't just play good one game and then the next game you just disappear. And I think in my opinion, besides Dak, that's my other pick right there, Lamar Jackson, where he has a lot of pressure going on his shoulders to go into this season. And if he doesn't perform well in the playoffs, because in regular season, I have no doubt he's gonna be good in the regular season. But in the postseason, what if you can't win at least 2 games and make it to the AFC Championship, then I, I just don't know what to say. I mean, is he your franchise quarterback? If he can't win in the playoffs in the regular season, he can win. He can put up the numbers, but in the postseason is where it all matters, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think that this year, if the Ravens can stay healthy, that's the key here. Obviously, you have Derrick Henry. He was out a lot of last year. Mark Andrews was out last year. They had Odell and last year. Obviously, he's in Miami now. But he was inconsistent last year. And I think the only truly consistent piece that he had come playoff time was Zay Flowers. And
A
so
rookie.
I love Zay Flowers, by the way. I think he is great. And I think he's gonna only
FSU
improve.
got them boys now. FSU got them boys.
They do. And I think he's gonna take another step this year. But if they stay healthy and come playoff time, they are all healthy. In terms of the guys that I named. So Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Derrick Henry, if they can stay on the field come playoff time and then they still choke the bucket again, I don't know.
Especially when you have a defense like the Ravens too, who, in my opinion, top three, and I don't think they're 2 and 3. I think they were the best defense last year in the league, in my opinion. And if and they only lost Patrick Quinn this offseason, right, as one of the main key players, or am I missing someone else?
I don't think so. I think it was just the one.
Yeah,
So
pretty sure.
a lot of the players are coming.
Cleveland's defense was up there too, though.
No, I had number
Yeah.
two. I had number two, and then I had Sanford number three, and that was my top three defenses last year. But yeah, especially with that defense too, you can't. With that defense keeping you in games, you can't lose games, in my opinion. If you're the reigning MVP,
I also think the thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is that Justin Tucker bails them out sometimes.
A lot.
And as still in my opinion the best kicker in the league,
of all
having a
time,
guy like that is awesome, but he definitely bails them out sometimes. And you saw it, I think it was last year when he hit that record-setting 63-yard field goal, or maybe it was the year
56.
before to win the game. You know, it's
Yeah.
nice to have a guy like that, but
Yeah, against Detroit. Yep.
you know,
So I definitely want to react because obviously I was gonna say Lamar. But again, I have two other guys in mind that I'm about to talk about. So I do want to react to that. Yeah, dude, you got to make plays. You hold the best player in the league to 17 points, you got to go win that game. you have to go win that game. Whether Zay Flowers fumbles in the end zone or not, you got to go win that game. You hold the best player in the world to 17 points, you go win that game. You go win that game. And the problem is they went away from the run. They started throwing the ball. Why? I have no idea. They started throwing the ball, and things went south, and they couldn't score the ball. Number one, you are a quarterback. If your coach tells you we got to throw the ball to get back in this game, if you're an MVP, you need to be able to throw the ball and get back in the game, not struggle because you can't get the ball to your receivers. There's a reason why you're MVP. There's a reason. You shouldn't be a one-dimensional run-first quarterback. That should not be the case. That should not be the case at all. If you have to throw the ball, you should be able to throw the ball at an efficient rate to be able to bring your team back into the game. So Lamar, yes, I think he's right under Dak Prescott in terms of pressure. There's two guys that I think, one more than the other. One has a little bit more pressure on them than the other. But there's two guys that I think need to step the F up this year. First guy, the guy who I don't think has as much pressure as this next guy, but I still think has a lot of pressure on him. Jalen Hurts. Your team goes out and gets Saquon Barkley. You have a dominant wide receiver tandem of Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. You need to make plays. What happened last year, the second half of last year was pathetic. You started 10-1. 10-1. A lot of those games you barely scraped out of. But you started 10-1. You did go end up winning the NFC East. But then you let Baker Mayfield come into your house.
Of all people.
Of all people, you let Baker Mayfield come into your house and do you like that. That's what you do. Yep. Now, I understand you went to the Super Bowl the year prior. That's why I think you don't have as much pressure on you as this next guy does.
Wait a minute. I think Dallas was the 3 seed. I think they were the 5th seed. The Eagles were the 5th seed.
Oh, you know, I think you're right. I think they went into Tampa Bay. That's right.
Yeah.
They went into Tampa Bay. Regardless of where you were, you let Baker Mayfield do you like that. So not only Jalen Hurts, but Nick Sirianni too. Yep. Because I absolutely believe he's on the hot seat. So the Eagles need to start making plays when they absolutely need them. Hey, and you can have whatever regular season record you want. But when it comes to playoff time, you need to make plays. You need to make more impactful plays to go in and go get to the promised land. Jalen Hurts, that's my first guy. This second guy, he's got an uphill battle. His name is Josh Allen.
I know. Ooh, not who I was thinking of.
His name is Josh Allen. Josh Allen has had the same playoff problems as Lamar Jackson, but nobody talks about it. He has this ghost living rent-free in his head. Rent-free in his head. Mm-hmm. That ghost's name is Patrick Mahomes. He cannot get out of his head for whatever reason. He had a chance to go beat Patrick Mahomes and those Kansas City Chiefs this year, sold the bag. That same chance to go beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the overtime game the other was that 2 years ago?
I think it was 3.
Sold that bag, or whatever it was. Sold that chance. So I don't know what Patrick Mahomes has on Josh Allen, but whatever it is not obviously it's working in favor of Patrick Mahomes. So now in the offseason, you go out and lose your 2 best receivers in Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis.
Bye, Kevin.
You go. Yeah. Uh-oh. Kevin left us. Damn, I was on a rhythm. But you go out. You go out and you lose your 2 best receivers in Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. You bring in Keon Coleman. Again, FSU got them boys. So I have no doubt in my mind Keon Coleman is going to be very good in this league. But now you have to work with a lot less than you were working with last year. I love James Cook. I think James Cook is going to be a very good player, and he has been a very good player, and he shows spurts. But what can you do? Can you show me you're a top 5 quarterback in this league? Can you show me? Can you carry your team to the playoffs? Can you carry your team past the Miami Dolphins to go win the AFC East? Can you show me that? Can you go and step up and play like a MVP candidate quarterback? Josh Allen has an immense amount of pressure on him to be able to, again, not only take his team to the playoffs this year with a lot less weapons that he had last year, but perform in the playoffs with those same weapons that he has this year. maybe a little lesser.
It's
But
also
if
that
you're that
defense,
guy,
too.
you go out and make those plays. You go out and make those plays.
Yep.
Like I said, 2 years ago, Kevin was telling me Josh Allen was better than Patrick Mahomes. And I know you remember that vividly. Kevin was telling me Josh Allen was that dude.
They did win that regular season game, though.
What happened in the playoffs?
Hey, playoffs is playoffs. But that regular season game, I did tell you they were gonna beat the Chiefs.
Oh no, okay, that's fine. The Colts beat the Chiefs. The Colts beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Now in the playoffs, that's a completely different story. That's where the GOAT comes in. But we can have that. We can have that conversation for a different day.
Man, it's not the GOAT yet. Stop.
But Josh Allen has to perform.
I got one more name if you want it.
Absolutely. We're going football for the rest of the show as long as there is.
I think there's one other guy that I can think of that I thought you were going to say, Jamal, and didn't. After the whole uphill battle, because he lost all of his weapons, and he has a new head coach, and it's Justin Herbert. That's who I thought you were going to say. There's been a lot of hype around Justin Herbert ever since he came into the league. Well, I say came into the league ever since he started in the league, and he's been great ever since his rookie year. And we haven't seen success from him either. And we keep hearing about, Justin Herbert can be a top 5 quarterback. Oh, Justin Herbert is this and he's that. And we haven't seen it yet. Obviously, they lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams. They lost all of their weapons. And Austin Eckler is gone too. So they brought in Harbaugh. Fantastic pickup. Love that. But he doesn't have any weapons, so it's going to be an uphill battle. And that's when I thought you were going to say Herbert. But I think there's quite a bit of pressure on him too to see if he can get over whatever hump that he's in. And I think the only time that we've seen him in the playoffs is when they blew that league to Jacksonville. So he's got to get there, and he's got to show us something for us to continue talking about him as an elite quarterback in the league.
And one more thing, and I know Kev, you got another guy you want to talk about too. And but to react to that, Justin Herbert is on that list. Do not get me wrong. Do not get it twisted. He's absolutely on this list. I just think there's a few guys ahead of him in terms of who has more pressure on them.
I agree.
One thing because like, and you mentioned it, new head coach, brand new head coach, Jim Harbaugh, obviously coming back from Michigan off of his NCAA championship. So brand new head coach. So I think he should get a year to kind of develop and learn how Jim Harbaugh operates. And then I think next year, I think is when the pressure begins to build. And in terms of Josh Allen and the Bills, if they don't make it to the AFC Championship, you better believe Sean McDermott will be on the picket line. He'll be looking for a new job. So, but I did want to react to that because I think Justin Herbert is definitely overrated. I absolutely believe that.
And in case of last year and prior years, we could put it on the head coach. Head coaching was awful. Yeah. I don't want to hear no scapegoating of Harbaugh at all. I want to hear nothing. In the NFL, he took the Niners to the Super Bowl in 2012. Ever since then, he's been in Michigan and has had so much success at Michigan.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see the scapegoating for Harbaugh at all. It will not be his fault if they are losing games. It will 100% fall on the players, and in particular, it will be on Justin Herbert. So I want to see, can he handle that pressure and can he take them over? I agree. I'll give him a year to kind of settle in, figure it all out. Maybe coming into next year, they'll get some more weapons for him. But if he doesn't perform in the next 2 to 3 years, we have to start having this conversation about Justin Herbert.
Absolutely.
And it just sucks because for me, I love Justin Herbert. So just hearing you guys just talking down, I'm like, damn, like I can't defend my man, but like when I watched him do in Oregon and the flashes that I've seen that he's capable of doing, I like him. I like him as a quarterback. I like him as a person. But it's just you guys are right. I mean, ever since he got drafted, what success have we seen from him? I mean, he's shown flashes where he can be a top 5 quarterback, and then he's shown moments where he looks like he doesn't know how to throw a football. So for me, I need to see more consistency from him, and hopefully with Jim Harbaugh coming in, that can bring more consistency, and bring more success to him. Another player, I'm glad
I'm
D'Lo's.
gonna pause you real quick, Kevin. I
Huh?
do have to dip out. I have to go to
Yeah.
work. I'm sorry to cut you off, Kevin. I would
No, you're
love to
good.
hear
You're
your
good.
last one. Can you just say it real quick, and then you can give your argument?
No, you should be glad you're heading out because I was gonna say Brock Purdy.
All right, yeah, I will head out there. Um, but yeah, I do have to dip. I do have to go to work, so I'm gonna take my leave here. But
Hi,
y'all
D-Lo.
continue a great discussion about a wrong topic in Brock Purdy, and I will catch y'all later.
All right, bro.
All right,
Have a
bro.
good day, bro. Talk to you soon. All
Bro,
right,
he
go
did.
ahead.
He dipped at a time where I'm like, damn it, I should have talked about Brock Purdy before he left because
Oh,
there's so much I want to say about Brock. Look, he is a player where he fits that system, and I think that system is great for him, especially with Shanahan calling the plays, and with the offense that they have the weapons around him, and the defense is they've been one of the best defenses for what the last 3 to 4 years consistently on a year to year basis. I mean, so for me, yes, you made it to the Super Bowl. You had success last year taking over at the starting quarterback position. So for me, this upcoming year, you need to go back to the Super Bowl. And you need to win it all because with the amount of talent that 49ers team has, there's no reason why you can't win. Even though, if in my opinion, if you're not a top 10, top 15 quarterback, in my opinion, um, there's no reason why you have the best running back in the league. If Ayuk does come back, you have 2 Pro Bowl receivers. You have one of the top 3 tight ends in the league, and you have an okay O line, but it's not the best. But you still have Trent Williams, who is the best left tackle in the league. I mean, you have all these guys on offense, and if you can't put that into success and winning another ring for that franchise, I think there will be talks about Brock Purdy if he's capable of winning games for them, or if he needs to get replaced by someone else. Um, I mean, Jamal, we talked about it yesterday too. I mean, is Brock Purdy a winner, or is he just someone that is just being a bridge player for an upcoming quarterback, or is he someone where he's the best option that they got, and they're just waiting for the next best available player? Who knows? If it doesn't resort to winning a Super Bowl especially the team that they built around him, then there has to be talks about if he's the guy for their team, and I think he also has tons of pressure going into the season as well.
yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, Brock Purdy is another one of those guys because one, he's awaiting a new contract, right? He's awaiting a new contract in one of these $35-40 million a year contracts that all these other quarterbacks are getting. So Brock Purdy, like you said, has weapons palooza, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey. Again, and an offensive line that's not the best in the league, but it's very good. And again, Kyle Shanahan. I cannot say enough about Kyle Shanahan on what he's been able to do with this offense and this team and this system. He is amazing. I think he's one of the best head coaches in the league, a top 5 at the very least. So he absolutely has an immense amount of pressure on him to be able to perform with the talent that he has. So Brock Purdy is definitely up on that list. And one more guy I do want to mention, he just got paid. Trevor Lawrence. Obviously what he did at Clemson and his again, and him just getting his huge deal. There's a lot of pressure on him. He doesn't have a new head coach. Doug Peterson has been there for a few years. He has weapons. He has ETN, who's very, very good. He has Evan Ingram, who really showed out last year.
Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas. You have Christian Kirk from last year, who's been playing very well the past few years while he's been in Jacksonville. Can you perform? Right? Obviously, you had the one playoff win against Justin Herbert and the Chargers, and you were down by 27 and came all the way back and won. So all credit goes to you. But can you do it again? And can you go further this time? Last year, you let a rookie come in and handle his business better than you did. And then, he was a second overall pick. You were a first overall pick. You're also experienced in this league. You've been to the playoffs. So the fact that you let him come in here in the same division, let him bust you up like that, and then go to the playoffs, win a playoff game. So now you and him got the same amount of playoff wins. He's been here for 1 year. You've been here for 2, 3. So Trevor Lawrence has got to perform. He's got to make up some ground on CJ Stroud, because right now I'm taking CJ Stroud over Trevor Lawrence. That's just what it is. So Trevor Lawrence, he's got to step up. He's got to step up big time, man. He's got to step up big time. Kevin, I don't know, did you have any last touches on this?
I would love to talk about NFL, especially with the NBA season being done now. I mean, we do have the Olympics, but that's like a different type of like basketball. It doesn't correlate with the NBA. It correlates with the rest of the world. So I think that's like a different topic, but we'll still cover it because it's the Olympics, and we have on that team. There's a lot of our favorite players on that team. I mean, throughout the season, we could go against each other, but when it comes down to uniting for the Olympics, I think we can all agree we're rooting for the U.S. to win it all and win gold all the way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, pretty much other than the Olympics, I think the basketball season's done. I think we're almost done talking about basketball for a while until October comes around. And until then, we're talking about football strictly, like more football as each episode goes on. And I'm looking forward to talking about the upcoming preseason and just everything about football, because I'm looking forward to the season as well.
I could not agree more. I cannot wait for football season. I love the NFL topic. I love talking about the NFL. I love talking about football. So I'm right there with you. It's going to be so much more NFL talk, especially with training camp coming up next month. I don't want to say anything yet. I will be yourself, huh? Well, I don't want to jinx, but I will be going. I will be at Cardinals training camp. Usually I get to talk to some of the players. So maybe just maybe I'll be able to talk to a few of them and maybe have them come on the show. You
want to talk to Harrison Jr. that bad, huh?
There's a good chance I'll be able to talk to Marvin Harrison Jr. There's a good chance I'll be able to talk to Kyler, James Conner, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, Buddha. I met Buddha last year. He's great, dude. I met Buddha Baker last year. And then maybe I probably wouldn't say Jonathan Gannon, but so maybe I want to be on a hush hush about that. I don't know, but we'll see. But that's going to conclude this show on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I hope you all enjoyed. We'll be back tomorrow. Kev, you back with me tomorrow? Yes, sir. So we'll be back tomorrow talking some more NFL stuff, talking some more NBA free agency. The draft is next week, a week from today, actually, the NBA draft, that is. So we'll definitely be kind of looking ahead to that, maybe going over some prospects and some of the people that each of our teams could possibly draft. But for Kev, for yours truly, we're out. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope you all have a great, safe day. Be productive. Be happy. See you tomorrow.